Hello, welcome back to Frogboy X1 Gaming. I'm Andrew, and today we're doing another Assetto Corsa video. I was just out and I was driving home. Kind of a long drive, a little bit over an hour, and it got me thinking about about this game a little bit, and I wanted to just go over here to Kailami and put in some laps and kind of talk about how this Fanatec DD kind of feels. First, let me just show you my settings on the game, just so that you can see what those are. I'm sitting at 50% gain, 100% dynamic dampening, road effects at 50, steering lock 900, and steer scale is at 100%. So that's my steering. Well, that's the settings for everything on this one. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, the handling does feel a little bit light, which for me, that actually feels pretty good. My Fanatec settings, I got it at 70% power. That just kind of feels better for me with this little rim. It feels, it gives me that, it feels too bouncy at 100. It feels too bouncy. It's like, it feels too stiff and I don't like it. So, just give me a second. I got to get used to the track again. I haven't been here, well, I haven't driven this for a little while, so. But I was, when I was going around some of them turns on the freeway, you know, at 80 miles an hour and stuff like that, I was noticing something because I was driving an SUV. I have an SUV that we usually do all those longer drives on and stuff, and I just kind of wanted to see, you know, how the turning feels on this. And to be completely honest with you, when I was doing my video earlier, that's when I noticed it. When I was coming home tonight, and I was taking a a fairly sharp turn off of an exit, and it's over. It was kind of like over a little hill, over an incline with a I would say probably a fairly sharp turn, maybe like maybe like, I wouldn't say 90 or 45%, 40, say, I don't know. It was had a pretty decent curve to it, and it was over over kind of a hill, so it was kind of weird. And I was feeling in the wheel, I was feeling like that kind of little bump that you get on one of these wheels right here, but then it was kind of going like limp too. So I was like, wait a minute. So that kind of had me thinking, like, man, maybe my settings for this are actually pretty close to mimicking something in real life, and you don't really know until you're going faster what that actually kind of feels like. And I don't know, that just kind of caught me off guard, and it started making me think that, yeah, man, maybe this is pretty close. Maybe this is pretty close. Maybe my settings are pretty good. Maybe a little bit more fine tuning, but for the most part, it feels pretty. Feels good. I like that it's stable. You know, when you start trying to push it and stuff, you start to feel that little bounce wobble in there, and it kind of feels like a little bit light, like right through there. This track is really good for that. Really good for these type of turns. You know, it's got some of these long bendy turns in here, and some like little quick chicanes and stuff like that. So Kailami's a good track. I love this layout. Basically is what I'm saying, is I love the Kailami track. It's really great for learning and teaching you some good stuff. And I think this track here is one of those better ones for fine tuning your force feedback. This is a good track for fine tuning force feedback and stuff like that. So maybe consider that like one of these tracks. And I do encourage you to play with your settings as much as you can, and at least figure out those settings and what they actually do, so that you don't have to rely on other people on other people's settings, because what feels good to one racer is not always going to feel good for you. Most of the time, like when I first started sim racing, I tried so many different people's settings, and they never felt right. They never felt right. I didn't start feeling right with my settings until I started doing it myself, until I started pulling up the different settings, looking for them, finding out what they mean. One of these days I'll sit down and I'll make a video going over those settings and what each one means and how I interpret them, so that you can get a better understanding. Because if you're new to sim racing, I'll tell you right now, man, this is like one of the hardest things to really start to learn. Because if you're like me, you came from Need for Speed, you came from Gran Turismo, you came from Forza, you came from any of the other, Test Drive, all of the arcade racing games, all of that kind of stuff. And then you decide to pick up something like Assetto Corsa Competizione, where this game is 100% more in line with what actual sim racing and actual racing really is about. That's why I have my cockpit set the way I do. I want it so where I can see the road. I want to be able to see the sides of me, because I'm not in VR. VR is the ultimate experience for sure, but I want to be able to have that situational awareness, which to me looks better this way. I can see more of what's around me, and I can get a better judge for my my overall position on the track. Oh boy, I hit that one a little bit tough. Ooh, had to put my car in a situation on that one. But I like to be able to getting back to the finding my own settings and stuff like that. That's the only way you're going to truly understand and really fine tune your equipment to really work for you. Because I get a lot of people, I get a lot of people wanting to know my settings and stuff like that. And for the most part, I'm always changing them. Like, I'm always changing them. I'm always finding something that will work a little bit better, or I'll be having trouble on a track, so I'll adjust my settings a little bit more and stuff like that. And it really does kind of help. But sometimes, man, I get to a point where I'm just like, oh man, and it feels really good, so I get really comfortable. So I start losing time on tracks and stuff because I get too comfortable. Right now, my settings are for this smaller GT wheel. They're for this 280 millimeter Gran Turismo 7 wheel that came with my Fanatec DB Pro. So later this week, I'll have the R330 that I will probably end up having to redo my settings, because if 100% power feels better with that wheel, then I'll be going up in power. But as it sits right now, this smaller wheel, it feels better at 70%. This is like the perfect wheel rim size for 5 Newton meters. Like this is perfect for 5 Newton meters of power. This feels a lot better. I want to try to get down to 1, see if I can get a little bit tighter on that. I like hitting that corner a little bit tight. Around that right there, yeah. So, I mean, I love this. I love this experience. I love just sitting out here doing laps, and even if you do 100 laps on something, you learn. It doesn't matter. The more you do laps, the more you'll learn the track layout. The more you can play around with things. The more you can really get to learn something and get familiar with it. And I recommend that all the time, because once you start getting into races and stuff, that's like the biggest thing I recommend for new sim racers that are just barely getting started is, man, don't jump right into the races. Just do laps, learn these tracks, learn the car track combination that is going to be good for you. Like right now, I've bumped up, now that I feel more confident with my wheel and what it's doing. I've bumped it over to the aggressive setup on the car, and yeah, I've been rocking that, relearning some tracks, and just having a good time, because that's pretty much what you want to do. And then when you get into the races, you know the track, you know the layout, you know your tires, you know your car, you know everything there is, and you know what things feel like, so you can be better. And then all you have to do is worry about the other cars around you, and not so much about learning the tracks and braking zones and stuff while you're racing. That's like the best advice I can give to new sim racers. And yes, direct drive 100% makes a major difference. I've greatly improved just since buying this. Like, my technique is better, my trail braking is better, the way I feel things, the way I approach things feels smoother, more refined, feels more realistic. I have a better feeling of what the car is actually doing, so that there is much better. And as you noticed, man, the last couple of laps, I've been gaining. Oh, man, I was starting to go down a little bit. I should have braked a little bit sooner. But I was gaining some time on those last ones. Whoa, man. And now I'm wrecking again. But yeah, dude, I don't know. I feel a lot more confident on a DD wheel for sure. For 100% feel much better about this. Like, when you're going around like a turn like this, man, this just you can feel that grip with the settings that I have on here right now. Like, I can feel that grip, I can feel my car on the edge, and it doesn't feel like it's trying to yank anything out of my hands. It just feels good. It feels consistent. It's pretty nice. It's definitely pretty nice. I haven't been on this track on this wheel yet, so I'm actually learning. I'm doing my learning process right now with this. Normally I don't have any of that stuff up there. Any of the HUD stuff on the Xbox or the PC, I don't have any of that stuff enabled. This is the PlayStation 5 version that I'm actually playing right now. Kind of just testing it out to see how this feels. I wish I had cross save. That would be awesome. But yeah, I feel like these settings are actually pretty close. After driving out there today, in the SUV and stuff, I kind of feel like the more I drive my real car on the freeway and stuff, and the more I come back and I feel this, it really is helping me figure out and dial down the settings a lot better, so that it can be a more so that it can be a much better experience. See if I can. Yeah, you can like feel that when you're on the edge, and it feels so nice, so much better. I almost forgot where I was at. Yeah, you can feel all these bumps and stuff. Oh man, it just feels so much better. Yeah, this aggressive setup is pretty good. Like, you gotta watch it though. You gotta be a little bit more attentive to it than you can with the other setup, with the practice setup or whatever it's called. I don't even remember what the name of it is. But this here is a lot more. It is more aggressive. I feel like the car's got a better. I feel like the car has better. A lot more punch to it when you're driving it like this. Ooh. First, yeah, like stuff that I'd be able to pull off before. It feels a lot more aggressive, so that's good. That's good. All right, man. I'll stop talking to you guys. This heads off. This direct drive is an incredible experience. So much fun. Such a good investment. If you're on the fence about getting a direct drive wheel, definitely pick one up, man. This thing is incredible. It really does. It really does make driving so much better. It makes this such a better experience. I know it is a little bit more costly, but these direct drive wheels, because of the technology of the direct drive, the way to wheel it, the way the motor and stuff is, it should last you much longer. These motors, these direct drive motors, they usually last a lot longer than your other types of motors, because they've got, you know, like actual bearings and stuff, where the other ones are probably just going to have like little plastic bushings or some sort of like a bushing mechanism, where these ones here actually have like real ball bearings and stuff like that. So these do last a lot longer, and you know, they usually hold out a lot longer. So I know that a little bit of extra money, it might be like a, ooh man, but trust me, like, you'll feel better. This does feel pretty dang premium. Feels pretty dang premium. It does feel far better than a belt-driven wheel. Like, far superior to the belt-driven wheels. I said I was going to stop at the last lap, but I don't know, man. I get in here and I just want to keep putting down laps, so I'll finish this one and then I'll let you guys go. Well, so if you guys like this content, don't forget to like and subscribe. I like making these types of videos. I like getting on here and talking and just having a good time and doing some laps. So you can definitely expect more of those. And in the meantime, like I said, we will see you guys in the next one. Thank you for watching. Stop that car and stop this.